Hi everybody, this is Lynn from Creative Concept Crafts with this week's release, and it's our asymmetrical clutch bag. It's a great gift bag. It's about 8 inches wide by 6 inches high, and it's also, if you want the option, has a fold flat option. There's a seam line on the back which can be omitted if you don't want it, and it also has a double fastening. There's space in there to get a little gift voucher. And it's got a double magnetic clasp fastening going towards the inside of the bag. So it's a super size, fit quite a sizable gift inside of there. And we're going to take you through all the options to be able to put it together. So here on the table I've got the base, sides, back and front pieces, which have all been scored in preparation. There's a central seam line and like a diagonal corner line there to help with the fold for the base. I've gone round the edges on the back and the front, down the scoreboard and on the edge of the bottom. You'll find that the back piece is slightly smaller than the front. Sorry, the front piece is slightly smaller than the back, correct. That's the score line there for it to fold. And with the side pieces, the front is slightly shorter than the back. So that's to accommodate that slightly shorter front panel. So we're just adding the tabs onto from the side to the base of the bag. I've got right sides facing at the minute, so you're matching up the score lines from one edge to the other and burnishing down the tab, the glue on the tab. Repeat the same thing down the other side. And remember, this is a fine glue nib that I've got, so even though it may look as if there's a lot of glue going down, there really isn't there. So again, popping that down, I'm going to flip over and burnish it down. So the underside there will be the inside of the bag that will fold up. It's easier to attach the tabs with the right side up. So this is the front panel now going on, speeding it up a little bit. And again, the opposite side. And I'm now just going to pop that to one side to allow it to dry. In the meantime, bringing in the handle, which has a couple of notches on the end and 2 score lines. So what you're going to do is to glue up to one of the score lines from the edge. So right the way from top to bottom. Just going to speed this bit up, burnish that down, repeat the same thing on the other side and burnish well down. And again at this point, pop it to one side to allow the glue to key. In the meantime, we can bring in the front panels, the under flap and the top flap, which have got their own mats, layers and little pieces to be laid onto them. I've done a little logo. I've done a little voucher gift section there. I've matted and layered the little, every bag's got a logo, so I've created a CCC one, Creative Concept Crafts. You can add or not as you wish. So just gluing that into position on the under flap. So it's just going into the corner on the bottom right hand edge. And this is the little pouch that will hold a gift card. I'm just adding a little bit of glue to just tack the bottom to the side pieces, the fold lines. So just give that a bit of a squish. And once that's housed, just make sure those lines are well burnished down. And we can add glue to the 3 tabs. And I'm going to place this to the left, but centrally, again on the under flap. You could put, as an option, you could put this onto the reverse of the bag, or even on the front if you so wished. I've chosen to put it underneath, so it's like a hidden extra gift within the gift bag. Could use the same colour as the top layer there, which would have been white, but I've gone with the base colour of the bag. Again, all these are optional choices. And now we can add the mat to the under flap. And again, I've gone round all the edges of the mat and of the base so that you can line up accurately the mat to its underlayer. I find it so much easier to get lines straight when you've got that beveled edge to run with. If you have a scoreboard, I've got the hunky-dory one, I always run down the right-hand edge. So that's the under layer done. Now we've got the top layer. And I've given you options here. You can either use a fancy cardstock on the top, like a leopard print or any other animal print, or a pattern print. And I've also given you 3 matte options. So there's the shoe that matches the shoe card I recently did. There's a second matte option, CCC, Creative Concept Crafts. And there's a third option, which is the triple triangle, which I thought went rather well with the asymmetrical shape of the bag. This was actually inspired by a bag that I actually saw in a shop. I took a picture of it, and I'm glad that I did because I really like the way that it's turned out. So just adding the mat to the frame to the top mat. There's about a 1/2 inch gap between the edge of your matte layer to the placement of the frame there. About 1/2 inch all the way around. Now we can add, just burnish that down, and then we can add this to the upper bag layer. If you wanted, you could just go with 2 colours. You could do the matte and under matte layer the same colour. You could have gone with black and pink here. Just kept it all the 2 colours. Options, so many of them. But what a great present, a gift bag and a matching card. Just burnish down now the tabs. And what we're going to do now is to add these 2 layers together. So just pop them along. They don't quite meet, so don't worry, as long as the edges are level, it will fit when it goes onto the back of the bag. Because of the shape, just push them so that there's both layers are underneath and on the edges. And just pop that down and just burnish well down, and then burnish the flap down. Again, at this stage, that's where your bag looks like, at the lid, the flaps. And now we're going to leave that to key and bring back the bag and start to actually construct the bag itself. So we're going to start off by adding glue to the tabs on the back section. Lie the bag flat down, lie the back panel on the deck, and then you'll find you'll be able to line that side line up fairly easily and just burnish well down into the corner. And repeat exactly the same thing. You'll see the score lines now, and we're going to be squashing those in shortly so that the bag will fold flat. I would say let your glue dry completely before you try to fold the bag, or it might have a tendency to try and all fall apart again. So I'm adding the tab to the other side. So we're doing both back panels first. So just line up across the edge, line up at the top, and then just burnish that down from the inside. So that's the back of the back panel constructed. See how it's coming together? And I think you know where we're going now. We're now going to repeat the same thing on the tabs on the front. So put the glue on, lay it down on the deck, and get in and just burnish, and the same from the other side. I'll just whiz through this because you've seen it done on the back panel. At this stage I would say to let the glue dry before you carry on. Squash your bag in at the top and then start to push it in. Put the back on the top and start to push down at the sides. It takes a little bit of squashing in, but once it's down, it's down. Okay, so if you push the back panel up and inwards, and as long as those side panels have been well burnished, your bag will fold down flat. Okay, so I'm going to open it up again now because I need it open to add the lid and the handle. So this is going to attach to the back of the bag, and it will meet from edge to edge along the back. Don't think you've done anything wrong. Those two front pieces do extend beyond the bottom of the bag. It's an asymmetrical bag. So there is nothing wrong, it is correct. So just adding glue to the tab, and remember you're adding it to the back panel of the bag. So just pop that down, and you can add a few paper clips to just hold that in place until it keys. Which I'm bringing in now. And again, let that glue dry before you move on. Okay, so here I've done the handle. What I would do is to add the magnetic fasteners and do the handle last, because that needs to dry, and I tried to put it on and it came off. So slide the handle, pull it down over the edge of your worktop, and it will give you the curved shape. Those little pieces that are loose, turn them in and fasten them off, but it means that because of the shape of the diagonal, you can crease it along one of the diagonal lines, and it will give you the twist that you need for the handle on the bag. So I'm just fastening those corners off, but then once they're dry, I'm going to bend along one of those diagonal angles. Just going to do the other side first, so I'm just fastening in those two little tabs. I do it this way because you've got an angle to follow, to bend, to get the shape to attach it to your bag. And I would attach it with hot glue. So that's now ready to be attached to the back of the bag. It's about 2 inches in from either end, and just below the level of the flap the tab from the front of the bag. So I'm just bending, can you see that diagonal angle on each of those, and that's going to be attached to your bag. Okay, so that the handle will face towards it will curve towards you. The handle goes towards the front of the bag, the shaping. Now I've added this with wet glue. I would advise you to use hot glue, it works better. This came undone on me, so fastened it with a paper clip. You could do it this way and leave it to dry and then add the magnetic stoppers afterwards. You could also use Velcro to fasten the bag, but I usually find that it can be quite difficult to open, and I find that the little magnetic clasps are a lot more user-friendly for gift bags. There we go, it's about 2 inches from either end, and the little lip piece is just dropping below the flap, the tab of the front of the bag. So if you were wanting to add with wet glue, that's the way I would do it, but leave it to dry. So that's you just showing that the bottom of that handle is just below the join line. And the only thing left to do now is to add the magnetic clasps, and I'm going to use 3. They're about just under half an inch, and they're about 1 mil thick. They are very small, but they're quite strong. So I'm actually going to be using 3 here. It's difficult enough to try and pull them apart on a big leg. So there's 3 pieces. And I'm going to attach these with hot glue. You need to take off the paper clips, obviously, to be able to open the bag to attach this. This is where I'm going to lose the handle now, because it's not yet stuck. But I'll add it at the end. So we're going to attach the first magnetic piece about 1 inch up from the bottom and fairly centrally. 1 inch, 1.5 inches up. So I'm just going to add some hot glue. I'm just going to put a pencil mark there so that I know where it's going to go. So that's about 3.5 inches and about 1 inch, 1.5 inches up. So if you just pop a pencil mark, and then you can add hot glue to the magnetic piece. They have a life of their own, do these things. So just pop that onto the pencil mark, and because it's hot glue it easily attaches. Now we just need to place the next piece on top of the one you've just placed. Oops, that's the wrong way up. So all you have to do is add hot glue and attach. Repeat the same thing again, attach another piece. It will attach itself to the magnet below. Attach some hot glue onto the top and it will attach to the top of the bag. So there you have one super great asymmetrical clutch bag. The gift bag. There's the matching card. What a great present that would make. There's the one with the animal print that I did earlier. And that can go any number of colourways. I found a free site that there were must have been about 8 or 9 of those animal prints. There was a great snakeskin one as well. So there's an option of 1 frame. There's the second frame. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Until the next time, bye for now.